Hi, welcome to the Berlin Airlift Station. As we spoke about before, Germany had been split up by the victorious Allies into East and West Germany. West Germany was split between France, the United States, and Great Britain. The Soviet Union ruled East Germany. Berlin, the capital, had also been split up between the Allies. Since Berlin was within East Germany, though, it gave the Soviets a little bit more power. The Berlin blockade began after the Allies in West Germany decided to form a united government, one government versus three separate West German governments. The Soviet Union did not take kindly to that. Their response was a blockade of Berlin. They decided to blockade West Berlin to stop supplies from going back and forth and to force more negotiations with West Germany. The Soviet Union blockade, though, ran from June 1948 through May 1949, ultimately a failure, because the Allies came up with a strategy. If you can't get supplies through road, take them by air.
This is a story of the Berlin Airlift, the operation carried out by the Royal Air Force and the United States Air Force to supply 2.25 million people of Berlin with food, coal, and other necessities of life. In June 1948, all road and rail communications between the Allied zones and the western sectors of Berlin were closed by the Russians. By the 28th of June, the only way into Berlin was by air, and the first RAF aircraft started this colossal undertaking. According to many predictions, an impossible one to maintain for any length of time, especially during winter. Aircraft began their ceaseless drone into blockaded Berlin, using all available airfields in the western zone. In the first 3 days, 500 landings were achieved, but with the aid of the United States Air Force, the number of flights rose by October to 600 per day. Sunderland flying boats of Coastal Command were ordered in to supplement the land-based planes. These took off from the Elbe at Hamburg and came down on one of Berlin's lakes. Food, still more food, and raw materials had to be poured across the aerial bridge into the blockaded city. Only one narrow corridor led from the base on the Elbe near Hamburg to the unloading base at Havel Lake in the British sector of Berlin. Within 4 days of the decision to use them, the first giant boats, each carrying 5 tons of vital material, were on air transport service. You are clear to take off, everyone. They were soon winging their way daily over the port of Hamburg, destination Berlin.
I've got 6 months to last me all my life. I've months to spend and months to lend and months to send to my wife. No cares have I to bring, no pretty little girl to see. I'm happy as a king.
Past the Olympic Stadium, and presently over the only power station left working in the western sector. Immediately on landing, unloading commences, and the machines are prepared for the return journey.
Jolly, jolly tuppence. I've got tuppence to last me all my life. I've tuppence to spend and nothing to lend and nothing to send to my wife. No cares have I to bring me, no regiment will come to see me. I'm happy as a king.
At that point, it was obvious to the Soviet Union that they could not win. It ended up being a huge disaster for the Soviet Union and really a good morale booster for the democracies of the area. Right now, you guys are going to go into the Berlin Airlift historical thinking. In the folder, you guys will find many different documents, mainly pictures and brief citations. On the page, you will see a link to a worksheet. That worksheet is a Google Doc. You're going to make a copy of it, go through it as a group, and you can answer it together if you like. You're going to turn it in individually. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.